my channel and welcome to a kitting down. This is my Mystery Every Moment kit, which you will see in that picture over there. Got finished today. I'm kitting down and I'm also going to go through the waterfall walks. Usually on my whip and chats in the last few months I have been, sorry, I'm just trying to get comfortable with something under me. I've been trying to share our walks that hubby has been doing, and yeah, been doing the mystery painting while we've been doing that, and I've been showing you the photographs, but then I ended up getting 2 walks and no whip and chat, so they got backlogged. So I thought, well, this is going to be your picture thing, so I will try and multitask. He says it's not a thing. We'll see how we go. If you are watching this video, I would recommend that you increase your screen to theatre mode, or you bounce this to your TV, to your big screen. You're going to see lots of photographs and very little of me doing much work. And I would recommend that you see these photos and hear these on proper speakers, hear the waterfall video noise, and yeah, enjoy. Thank you for coming and watching my video. This is all of the drills finished. Now just over here I've got my Every Moment drills. I've sorted through the box of extras. This is not how I kit down for everything. This is just how I've kitted down for my Every Moment. So they will go into my mini Tickle Tack containers. I've taken the duplicates out so they're all ready to go, and then it's going to be all unique containers for each colour. So I've got orange for the new ones, I've got red for the combining, and the plan will be to move this aside to give me some workspace. The full packets are all now in this, all of my full packets from Every Moment, so these are now amalgamated. If you want to see how many full packets were left, they actually covered an A5 notebook, and I show it at the end of my whip and chat. Let me get this back in the bag though. You'll see all the leftovers. There's a lot of leftovers from an Every Moment kit. So we'll get these one at a time. The plan is to either find the colour here and they all go in if the colours match, and yeah, we kind of go from there. So these should be a burgundy 154. It's the same print, so yeah, not a problem. Bit of debris there, I'll put that out of the way, and they are good to mix. Chunks of fluff. Alright, so it's all Every Moment. I'm probably just going to trust their dye lots are the same, to be honest, rather than doing it into the tray and that kind of carry on. So 154, it did have a symbol. The symbols do not copy over, so all I've got on here is the 154, but because it's all one sticker, I will try and just get under that. These are repositionable stickers. I have previously put them on acetate, not acetate, sealed thingamajiggies. I can't think of what the name is. Anyway, they go back into the bag, into the storage container. Put the lid on properly, and I'll be able to get a storage bag back, most importantly. Okay, so 144 just goes into the box, and that's it. It's done. Okay, 155 doesn't have a container. So 155 gets written on the top and on the side. Yes, I know it seems like duplicating, but to be honest, they rub off. Okay, so get under the sticker. I thought I had a flat tweezers, but I can't find it. I've got to be very careful. It's not getting the sticker coming up. And it's tearing. There we go. Alright. Very, very gently tease it literally off. Actually, the one, because of the way I numbered these, can actually stay on that. So 1 is 1, 2 is 2, funnily enough. And, oop, keep it in the container. Oop, static. Alright, that's empty. Put that down. Put that one down. Gosh, these ones are stubborn getting in. Goodness me. In the tub. Alright. Next. It's a little bit slow. I will get into the rhythm and then I will be able to chatter much more easily. So, the first fall I'm going to share with you about is one called Snug Falls. It is down in a village or near a village called Snug, funnily enough. I'm trying to describe the area. It's a bit of a valley. Waterfalls, I suppose, need to be in kind of valleys, don't they? But it's a gravel track off the main road, and there are some houses down these areas. Not that I have pictures of any of these. So the dirt track leads you to a car park area, just as a lay-by area at the side of the road. And you park up, and then you have to walk the road for a few 100 meters, 200 meters maybe. You've got to walk the road. Hang on, I'm going to do this time. Make sure there's none down the bottom. You walk to the top of the trailhead, and there is this marker here. Tells you the distance of the walk, and yeah, we are good to go. The reason why we were doing this walk in particular is because the clinical nurse where my specialist works suggested it. Now, we have been doing the waterfall walks, as you know, because you've probably watched them in my whip and chats, and you probably know the kind of walk that we've been doing. Well, this was, I think, a grade 3 walk. I'm just looking for hubby for confirmation there. Would not normally have been on our radar, this kind of walk. In saying that, though, I think we just did a grade 3 yesterday. That was easy. I've got to try and figure out what the differences are. Anyway, did this walk, and thought as we were walking along, just at the top of the trailhead, really, what the hell has this woman sent us on? Because it didn't look quite so easy, or complicated, or less complicated, or good underfoot, or anything else. We've certainly been on better trails than this for walks. So we start making our way through, and there's these amazing rock formations and everything else, and that's all well and good. And then the steepness starts coming in, and the tree roots cross the path. And initially I'm kind of thinking, oh yeah, I would love to take photos of this, but I really need to keep my wits about me and watch the ground. There's steep drop-offs to the right of this skinny path. It's a single file path. Oh, sorry, I'm tearing this. I need to concentrate just a little bit. There's the drop off to the side of the path, and you know, everything else is kind of okay. It's very, very dry, very, very dry underfoot. So we've got things like trees over the path, which means that I have to bend. Yeah, that was a bit of a kind of okay. That's fine. Get through that bit, and I'm just gonna try not to get too distracted by the scrolling. But we've got pictures of hubby's pictures and mine mixed in, so you get some pictures with me in it. There are quite a few cave erosions. Now there is already a 310, but because it's full I need to start another one. So there's some cave erosions in there, and they're basically these rounded hollows. I don't know how it was formed. It's like there's nothing in them. They're just a cave, you know, hole, as if it's been ground out by having something rubbed through it, but there's no signs of anything like that. There are a couple of other just overhangs. You know, there is talk that there are caves up on the mountain, which, you know, Rocky Mountains, I guess there are caves all over the kind of area. But anyway, there's talk that, you know, some of the outlaw dudes have gone and lived in these caves sheltered on the mountain to escape the law, or there's been people who have gone remote, slightly nuts, and they've gone up to the caves as well. And yeah, if it wasn't right next to the footpath, you probably could shelter certainly in one of these. I don't know if you'd want to use it as a bolt hole given that you're on the actual path, but maybe you could find one just up the hill and use it as your bolt hole. I don't know. I don't know what gets into the mentality of people who like being hermits and living in the bush and not being around people whatsoever. But it's not, because it's so close to the path, it's probably not the most ideal part. Damn it. I'll stick it down just to get it out of the way. I think the rest. However, you know, if it was raining, they may leak like a sieve, so they may not be as good as it looks in the dry, from a shelter point of view. So there's caves, there's trees fallen, some pretty big trees fallen down on the track, so you've got to kind of squat and duck as you continue walking, because it doesn't give you much clearance. There's more of this kind of limestoney effect with the rock, and you know, because there's trees fallen, there's tree stumps, so there's this, and the colour was amazing on this. The colour on this was like a rust orange. It was really, really pretty. So yeah, took these photos, and then coming down the final lot of steps, so there were some bridges, I think there were 2 or 3 bridges. Coming down the final lot of steps, as I said in the previous whip and chats, it's like walking into a man-made grotto. Alright, so you come into Snug Falls. Let me go this way. This is looking downriver. Sorry, it's moving. Try and catch up. That's where the river goes. I'll take you down there, well, later. But this is the fall. There's the steps that you come down. It's just these pockets of fern everywhere in amongst the rocks. It's like somebody actually planted everything down here. It's really weird. Or people just recreate this kind of thing. There's a pool. It's a bit stagnant, a bit fly looking. And then it goes up and up. Maybe it won't go up. There you go. It goes all the way up to there. It is a tiny trickle. It is so dry underfoot here at the moment. Like unreal dry. I think it's a taste of the summer to come. But this is the hole that we're in. All the way up. And these are the kind of ferns. Now, this place was actually suggested to us by the nurse who did my wound check, saying, oh, it's a lovely walk, it's nice and flat and all that kind of thing. Well, we look on Waterfalls of Tasmania, which is the site that we do all of this searching on, and it says it's a grade, whatever, 3 or 4 hiking trail, and it's rough and it's steps and it's all that kind of jazz. And I'm kind of going, yeah, this is not the kind of walk that we would have chosen ourselves. It's very nice. It's a pretty rock. Look, Dave. Look, Amber. Bit different from the rest. I don't know if any of these kind of stones would polish, to be honest. Sorry, let me get the tail out of the way. Not noticing any fossils. There could be leeches in the water. They're like little black caterpillars. I'll pass on getting any of those. More stream. Water under the rocks. You can hear it. And then it goes down the river. You could not hear anything as you walk down. And this is just the basin. So most of this looks like it would be, well, be fuller than this in the winter. But there's moss on the rocks, so they're often clear. So it's not very crazy full. I mean, this is all mossy, this rock here. So I don't think there's a very high water level. Oh, there's some snail trails in that one.
Snail?
Yeah, we're not supposed to take the rocks, so would have been nice, but there you go. But look at that. And there's people coming, so I'm going to stop recording. Kind of peaceful, except for the flies. We have put AeroGuard on. Do you see all those caves up there, though? Hang on. Haven't tried this before. Oop. But yeah, there's caves just through the rocks.
What did you find, Sophie?
There you go, back to normal. Alright, bye for now. For want of a better term. Sophie, can you turn that down just a little, please? So there are boulders scattered through this grotto, and there are ferns, and they're lush green ferns. Like, this is the kind of thing that if you went to a fern garden, there would be the constant misty spray going. Like, we actually have one in our botanical gardens. That's why it reminds me of this, but it's so lush and everything else. Now, the water that was falling at Snug was minimal. It was a tiny trickle. The wall was a little bit wet otherwise, and that was, you know, as spectacular as it got. But the grotto itself was gorgeous. I've got a video down there where I walk around with the camera on the gimbal. So I'll put that in round about here.
So this is the great waterfall we've come to see. Look at that.
Careful, use your hands. Scattered amongst, you know, the rest of the photos, and you can see for yourselves really how beautiful and lush, and it was cool, it was shady, you know, you got this dappled sunlight through it, and yeah, it was just beautiful down here. So we got down there and this other couple follow us down. You know, you're in the middle of nowhere, of course, and this guy just starts chatting and asking us, you know, how our day is, and, you know, just chit chat. And he has a doodle dog, Groodle, Doodle, Labradoodle, something like that. I don't know, furry. I'm not into the new designer doodles. I just don't like the poodle coat. We had one as a kid, when I was a kid, Suki, and nah, she was Alsatian poodle or something weird. She was just brown and hairy, curly. Didn't like her. No, great personality, just didn't like the coat. Don't like the curly coats. Anyway, moving on. Lovely dog. Sophie was having a bit of a fit about the dog. She's not into dogs at her height. She doesn't like Mocha, who she sees every day. She even feeds him. So, you know, it's just her thing. So he was kind of saying, no, the dog is all kinds of friendly. And I said, no, that's fine. She just doesn't like the dog's eye level to her. So, they let us leave ahead of them and kind of go, no, go ahead. You know, Sophie's setting the pace, sort of. And they were quite happy to leave us do all of that. So we start walking out, and it's uphill most of the way. Oh, there is a big tree that was down in the grove. A big tree came off the waterfall and literally is wedged in situ. Yeah, it's huge from the point of view of this thing came down. And yet the parks and wildlife kind of people here will leave trees where they sit. They'll maybe cut a tree open on the path if they need to. So they'll cut it on the left of the path, they'll cut it on the right of the path, and then take out that chunk. Otherwise, they might make you duck, or they'll leave it, you know, if they have to. If they have to leave it, they'll leave it. So there's a fair bit of, you know, light maintenance on these tracks. Otherwise, you really kind of have to take your responsibility for yourself and be safe on the path. So I think I take more pictures going out of this tree stump, because there's a few more that come up. And then I take a picture. Marcus has ended up with putting Sophie up on his shoulders for some of the walk. Most of this one. Most of it was downhill. He plods. He's got a particular gait that he gets into when he's walking. That's quite a slow and deliberate foot placement, and then he just keeps that steady pace the whole time. So I kind of tend to have to, not that I have to, I go forward, keep stopping to take pictures, and he eventually will catch up to me. And hopefully I'm not then putting him off his pace. So when we leave, I just put the foot down and just keep going and go all the way uphill without taking a break. I'm kind of thinking I'm dying here, but old mate is behind me jabbering away with his walking partner. And I'm kind of thinking, well, that's what I was wondering. He was talking to her like he'd never met her before, but she knew the dog or something, and it was all very weird. So I wasn't sure if she was daughter or neighbour or just a walking companion or girlfriend or whatever. He was probably in his 70s. Anyway, he was a local, taking her for the local kind of, you know, stop off. On the way out, though, we passed 5 groups of walkers, all with little kids walking in. We had gone in there fairly early in the morning. The first time we went down was a no-hoper because that's where the kid got car sick and we turned around and went home. But the second time around, we were down, I think, earlier than the first time because it was going to be a hot day, and Marcus is being quite strict. He's kind of, coffee, get up. So I'm under orders. He gave me my coffee yesterday at 8, expecting me to be up at 8. Yeah. Anyway, I think he's quite unrealistic in his expectations. No, I just get burnt by the bastard. Anyway, so we're coming out, I think, about 10:30. It wasn't a long walk. Coming out about 10:30, we meet these 5 groups or so of cars and people, and yeah, it's getting busy. So it's nice not to have to be passing too many people on the skinny path. You know, where we do pass, there's a fairly wide path. All of these people seem to know what kind of path is involved, you know, by going down with the kids. One group of people actually has, like, I don't know, there's nearly 10 in the party. It was a big group doing that. Now I'm going to need some glue, if I can do this. Just got some glue stick. No, I need them. And yeah, so get up the top of the trailhead and wait for Marcus to get up. So, thanks, Sophie. He comes up with his steady plod after old mate, with child on his shoulders. I think there's a photo. Hang on, I've gone on, clicked on something. The child or you? Me. Oh, he's half dead. He's never going to say he's half dead. He's just going to...
That's a pretty rough track.
Yeah, it was a pretty rough track. She's only 10 kilo.
Yeah. And it completely changes your centre of weight when you're going over these...
Yeah, especially when you're as tall as you. And yeah. Anyway, there's a photo of them coming up the track. And then we made our way home and chilled for the rest of the day. So that was Snug Falls. And hopefully, as I've been chattering, there's going to be plenty of time for me to scatter all of those pictures through the walk, or through the story. Now, the next one we went to, this was without the kid, because she alternates weeks with her mum and us. So we decided to try a local fall because the weather was going to be closing in, and a fairly easy walk given that the previous week's walk was pretty hectic. So we wanted just a, you know, nice even path and all that kind of thing. So we went to this one called Silver Falls, which is in a village called Ferntree, which is up on the mountains. It's about 400 meters up the mountain. It's the last suburb before you get to restricted park area, dogs not allowed, all of that kind of thing, water catchment, and you can walk there, you know, like camp there. You can't stay overnight or anything else unless you're an idiot and you get yourself injured, but they will get you off the mountain pretty quick usually if they know that you're stuck. So yeah, there's this track. The pipeline track was built back in the 1800s to get the water from the mountain basically down to the city to water the populace. So they created this pipeline that went along the front of the mountain. So it's on the, oh gosh, geography words. It's on the same gradient, yes, right across the face of the mountain. So it feeds down to the south and then it feeds down to the river, or down to the city. So it's a relatively flat walk, but you have to get to this pipe to get to the flat bit. So the walk up is this gentle slope, and it's a lovely wide path. I actually used to train on this, so I would walk up to the flat bit, and then when it got flat I would run, jog, you know, look like a mess, and then I would run the way back because it was a nice, you know, gentle downhill. But the bit where you turn off, if you keep going straight, you follow along the river and you get to what's called Silver Falls. You're into the water catchment area. Dogs are not allowed past that junction. And you can continue on. Then you can double back through the woods, through the bush. Go different tracks back down to Ferntree. There's a number of different walks. There's heaps and heaps of walks on the mountain. It's really, really quite cool. So, did that. And there's not an awful lot to see on the track, to be honest. There were some funky rocks. There is the wide track. There is lichen because it's soggy. It was actually quite cold, and we've been saying for a week to put a heat pack on Marcus's back, and both of us keep forgetting. So I think he's okay now, but he certainly wasn't initially. But I had put on a, I call them a body warmer, the sleeveless jackets that I used to get when I was working in the call centre. So I was wearing one of those, so it was kind of keeping my back warm, but keeping my arms reasonably light. So, yeah, I did this walk. There was a couple of bracket fungus things. I think it's bracket fungus that they call it. The tree ferns start to get more predominant up here as well. And you'll see there's photos of Sophie and me, I think, that Marcus took, walking onto the pipe, or a pipe that goes under. There's the founding stone. So they actually moved some of the works up here in 1860, and they kept those founding stones. So there's a monument to the original people who did the hard work. There is actually an ice cottage up on the mountain where they used to store the ice blocks that they would cut down. They would bring it to about 600 meters, and they would store it there for quite a while in these ice cabins, so it would stay chilled. Not very big at all, but it was like a little fridge up on the mountain. So there's things like that all this infrastructure kind of, you know, in minor grades up there. They've actually cut a gully for the river. They've cut it into a bank because they split the river. And I think I get that on the video as we go up, or I certainly try and take some photos of it.
What you had camera at?
No, just put it away. It was moving when I went to reach for it. There was a patamelon, went in there.
I think it's hiding now.
What they've done is they've basically diverted half of the river coming down, and they keep some for drinking and the rest for the waterfall. and the natural habitat. Now when we were up there, we actually saw a patamelon. Patamelons are like the short cousin of the wallaby. The wallabies aren't big anyway, but the patamelons are the short fat kind of hobbits of the wallabies. They don't have long legs. They don't sit up terribly big and proud. They're kind of short and dumpy little things. There was 2 of these on the track. We saw one going up, and as we were coming back down, one was sitting on the path, and just as I was about to get my camera out, it's hopped off over the river and, you know, into the trees, so we lost it. This walk I actually carried a bag. I need to actually get a day bag organized, particularly with the walk we did yesterday, just to have like lollies, compression bandages, drink, the camera gear that I put on, either that or get myself a couple of leg holsters. I actually put the camera gimbal into my leg pocket, and by the end of the walk I was putting my drink bottle into my other leg pocket, which is not the best design, because, you know, you're pulling down elasticated trousers and they eventually start going down rather than staying up. So yeah, I was kind of thinking, oh, I need to get some like toolkit leg holsters, you know, like the tradesmen here wear. So I was thinking of getting one of those, but having a backpack bag would be fine. But having the stuff in the legs would mean that they're easily accessible sitting on my thighs. So yeah, we'll work it out. We'll probably stop walking by the time I've actually worked anything out, just cause. So yeah, got to the waterfall. Everything is damp, everything is soggy. There's a little kind of brick wall around the bottom of it because it's diverting down to the river for some weird reason. Don't know why this wall is actually here. It's kind of like blocking the path, but it doesn't. I don't know. Very weird. Everything is mossy and green. It's lush. It's pretty cool actually. Alright, we have arrived at a place called Silver Falls in the Hobart suburb of Ferntree. There are like a million man ferns in the area. It's not a big fall at all. That's it. A lot of water coming off the mountain. It's been raining for the last couple of days. You're in a water catchment area, so there's no dogs allowed on this bit of the track, so you could technically drink this. I'm going to just walk across this little wall to the other two. There you go. Silver Falls. Oops, fern. Quite splashy. Awesome. And yeah, there's tree ferns and there's, you know, skinny eucalyptus trees and that kind of thing. But the tree ferns are the main thing in this area. Man ferns, tree ferns, same thing, aren't they? I don't know, there's probably a Latin name for the things. Big green umbrellas. They're huge. And they just get bigger depending on the area that you get to. Yeah, so we didn't get a picture of the patamelon, sorry. But there was some lovely little falls, and as I say, everything was just mossy green. Sophie had fun and found a couple of mushrooms. I have a friend who takes pictures of mushrooms all the time. She hasn't put much up lately. I don't think she's got out much in the last couple of weeks. Either that or she's kind of going, it's not wet enough for them, so she's not going to go looking. Not quite sure. But I've still found the odd mushroom. Yeah, bracket fungus or bracket mushrooms, definitely a thing. But the little brown mushrooms that I've got here, yeah, they were pretty cool. So yeah, I think we're kind of down to the bottom. There is a couple of videos though. I've got a video and Marcus has got a video, so you may see me in those. And yeah, that was maybe a 40-minute walk, and then we went to the tip. Marcus was looking for some pipes to build his indoor vacuum, and to try and get a bargain. So yeah, we went tip shopping after that, and we were off the mountain really early. We didn't get wet. It didn't rain actually, I don't think, at all on the day that we were expecting it to rain, so yeah, that didn't happen. So that was all good. Alright, now on to yesterday's falls. Holy cow, yesterday's falls. Oh, now I will try and show you. How am I going to do this? Let's open this, and I want this. Okay, so I've taken some screenshots of the routes, so I'll just open these briefly. So this is the fern tree track. So over on the right hand side where you see a kind of X in between the number 725 in a purple box and 680 is a big building. The 680 is the pub at Ferntree. And you see where it says number 8? That was the house I used to live in up in this village. So we would wake up on a winter's day to snow everywhere. It was amazing. And then all the city idiots would come up and park arse about face and go play in the snow kind of thing when we got to live there, and it was amazing. Anyway, this thing is going to go up like a puff of smoke when we do get a bushfire through, so kind of glad that I don't live there right now, because they're not doing any real bushfire management plans to reduce any of the load on the ground. So the path that you can see, there's middle track is named, okay? The dotted line below that is the track that we took, the one with the X on it. And we're heading to the star. The star is Silver Falls. So the slope, so you can see a little white kind of dogleg tail just below where the Hewen Road turns from red to grey. Oops, I need to put the drills in that. So follow the dotted line. That's all a gentle slope until it says Ferntree Bower. And when you get to the Ferntree Bower, that's where the pipe was going across the track. You can turn left to keep going on the same gradient, or you can turn up. And you see how the gradient changes. You're going into the valley there where those lines are converging into a point, heading up towards Silver Falls. So you're going up a steep kind of incline there to the falls. That's all water catchment from that kind of squared off line going around the Ferntree Bower. That's where the water catchment starts. So the only shit you get in the water above that line is probably going to be either human or possum. The rest of it's meant to be pet free. It's actually meant to be all animal kind of feces free, but that's not going to happen because the creatures living up on the mountain don't know that they can't poo up there. Anyway, moving on. So the next map that we've got is for for Snug Falls. Okay, so do you see over on the right hand side there's a number there that says 300? I'll give you a bit of time to find that. So where it says 300, it's on its side, and then between that and that blue lake pond spot on the map, that's where the parking area is. And you've then got to walk around that corner to the top of the trailhead, which is just opposite the 270 on the map. So the trail is, you know, a nice straight line. But you've got all of those contours that you're going up and down and up and down into the gully where those lines converge, pretty much to that gorgeous, gorgeous glade. So it's an out and back without any kind of issues, and I think that was like a 2.84 turnaround or something. I've got it on Map My Walk, I've mapped it, and yeah, it gives gradients and calories burned, and I think snug was something like 336 potential calories burned. Not that I don't know how they work that out, but anyway, if you're interested in that kind of thing, there's that. So Marriott Falls then is the next falls. Now this one for some reason is marked. I don't know why. Yeah, for some reason I was able to mark this, so you can actually see that this is just over 4 kilometers. You start off with that big red target, and I'll take you to the other map in just a second because it's got the contours. And then you walk along the river until you turn left through the paddock. It's paddock up until about number 3, which is where the bracken stops and the trees start, and then all the way up to the end of that point, and then back again is the walk. Now I'm not quite sure who's mapped on this image here. This I think is from the list, which they've linked on our walking kind of, it's called Waterfalls of Tasmania, and they link the list because some of the walks may be on private land, and it's teaching people how you can tell that some of the walks might be on private property. The list is a government site, and it basically gives you lots and lots of information, and if you pay for the information you can see who owns what property, who the landowner is, what the rates are, all sorts of government stuff, but you got to pay for all those kind of non-freebies. But real estate agents will use them when they're buying and selling a house because it shows titles of property, boundaries, all of that kind of thing comes into play. So the list shows the... Sorry?
No authentication on the website.
You mean no certificate?
You don't need to, yeah. Let's just say that it's not encrypted and you don't need...
Okay, stop talking now. I'll talk to you later. Anyway.
It's not as secure as it should be.
Right. It's public information, I suppose. If you're willing to pay for it, then... Yeah. Anyway. So started off, we drove in off the main road on that Tiana road that you see at the bottom of the page. And after we drove in this road, we actually... the GPS decided that we were already there or something at one point. Or did something stupid, and Marcus is going,
Yeah, because
we had to double
the beginning
back.
of the track is on the other side of the river.
Yeah, so we got there, and that was fine. And then there's a hand-painted falls written vertically on a marker with a little red marker on it. And it was like, well, what the hell is this? It looked a bit, dodgy and homemade. So Marcus continued down the road, and we started getting into driveways again. And it was like, yeah, let's give that a go. So we double back, and we drive down this little track that gets really bumpy really quickly. And it's running along the Tiana River. And then we get to the parking area like 50 meters down this track. And it was like one other car there. Ah, shoot. Just need to shake it. One other car down there, and there's probably parking for what, 4 or 5 cars, or even. And the first thing you see is swamp grass and a skinny trail. Don't know what to expect because I haven't looked for spoilers on this. I really want to keep these walks kind of virgin for us. So, what am I doing? I put it into the wrong container. Stupid me. So, there's the skinny walk start of the trailhead, and I take a picture of the skinny trail, and I take a picture of the sign. I'm kind of thinking, yeah, if I die, somebody can find my phone and they can look at the photos. Yeah, why? Yeah, I know, it's a stupid idea. Anyway, let me get back to the start of the pictures. So yeah, there's this skinny path through what's called sawgrass. Sawgrass can literally shred you with no feelings whatsoever. It will just desiccate your legs if you work your way through it. It will put barbs into you. It's nasty, nasty stuff. And then of course in the heat you get infections and fester and, you know, fall over and die. So you're supposed to go in bushwalking, preferably not in shorts. You don't go walking through the sawgrass, and you take care when you're walking in the bush. So they estimate on the sign that it's a 2-hour walk. The Waterfalls of Tasmania site said it was a 1.5-hour walk. Was it grade 3 or grade 4? Grade 3. Yeah?
Grade 3.
It was a grade 3 walk. And we walk along the river. Sorry, we walk along this skinny path. Can't see anything. Can't see where we're going or anything else. Can't see what's in store for us up ahead. And then we cross a little creek called Holton's Creek. Looking at the map, thank you very much. Go across Holton's Creek over this wooden style kind of bridge, and then we start seeing some signs saying the path was made by the youth of the kids in the area, or the youth of the area, young people, I think it actually is the word, in 1996, and is maintained by them. I don't know what kind of kids these are, whether they're agricultural kind of farm kids, scouts. It doesn't say scouts, but I think it might be kind of like more like the youth of the agricultural kids. Like AgFest is a big thing here where they get the farmers' kids involved in the show. So this was one of their projects, and they've built wooden bridges, and they've built steps, and they've put chicken wire on the steps to stop you slipping, and all of this kind of thing. This area actually gets snow. You're in the middle section of Tassie, and the national park gets snow every year, and that's like a spitting distance across the valley into the park. So we've literally just driven past the entrance to the park. So we walk along the riverbank in these skinny trees, and there's a video in here at some point which I'll put in. I want you to listen. Do you hear that? That's our beloved parrots. They're actually cockatoos. They're self-crested cockatoos. This is what we're walking in Marriott Falls. We nickname them pterodactyls. Alright, this is just a bit more of the trail. The girls are lagging behind. You can hear the waterfall though. Or, sorry, not hear the waterfall, hear the river to our right. That's a motorbike. Rachel, there are foxgloves up here in the kind of open heath. Come to the middle of the bush, they say. It's quiet and peaceful, unless you've got a Harley Davidson in your vicinity, and it's freaking noisy. It's all swamp grass. You can see some of the foxgloves over there, the little spots of flowers. Look at that. Yeah, just keep going. Down to the river. Okay, that's a bit of an odd thing to see. Maybe there was a bridge there. An odd place to put a stile. Again, river. Constant little cascades down the river. So if you're learning proper bushwalk etiquette, just stay on the track. Paddock with a green trail. It's opened right up though. Look at all the foxgloves. Like, these are all foxies. Don't put them on your fingers. They will kill you, digitalis, give you a heart attack. My sister actually did that. She used to bite her nails when she was a kid. Look at all those foxgloves, my goodness. She put all the things on her fingers. She was told that she couldn't bite her nails again, and she stopped. So that's my story for foxgloves. But look. Haven't seen any animals, although that is covered in wallaby scat, as I would expect of the little green space that there is. There's birds, but no four-leggedy creatures, or hoppy things as I call them, giant mice. Oh, listen to the birds. No dogs allowed in here. I don't know if this is actually national park land, but there's still no dogs allowed. And all the tree ferns over there to the side. Apparently the full descent and ascent on this path is up to 150 meters. Up and then down. Ooh, there's some pretty ones. There's a bumblebee in there. Ooh, camera's having a bit of a spaz. There you go. It's supposed to get to 25 degrees today. Thankfully, there's no sign of sun. There is blue sky, but No sun, so no heat yet. So it's got pleasant. And yes, I have walked off on the kids because they're noisy. And hubby, if he has to carry her anyway, I'm not good to her. There's a butterfly. Still no animals. But scat everywhere, like composted and breaking down. Obviously it's the resort. There's a swallow. I think they're called welcome swallows down here for some reason. I think they're permanent. I was going to say perennial. That's a bit of the view over the valley. Hang on. There you go. Look down to the queer folk. And these are the markers that we're following. Not high tech by any means. Does the job though. And there's more foxies. And it looks like we're going around the tree. This is swamp grass, bracken. Bracken is a weed here. Bracken's a weed everywhere, to be honest. Quite common walking in Ireland to have bracken. There's fresher wallaby. Haven't seen any wombat. As much about the sights and sounds, I suppose, as the whole seeing. Alright, I will get out of the open and shut you off for a bit and then come back and say hi. They look like primroses down there. I'm not 100% sure. Oh, camera. There you go. And you can hear the waterfall is actually sounding like it's up there ahead of us. So I'm not sure if this trail doubles back upstream or where we're going to come out on the falls, maybe lower. I haven't looked on the map to see if it just does a turnaround on a descent around the hill or what it's doing. So when I get home I'll try and get it on a map, show you where we've walked, because I'm not trailing this at the moment. I could be tracking my walk on a map, my run, but that would kill my battery, and I want you guys to enjoy the videos too. So more foxies, lovely fresh ones, so many pinks and purples and whites. Now we're going into trees. Talk to you later. And to the left are some bracken kind of groves, and there were some bumpy bridges, and apparently Marcus takes it into his head because Sophie spits the dummy at one point,
Well, they're not
and
really bumpy.
no, I'm going to tell.
Right.
So he's walking along, she's on his shoulders, and he goes, "Oh, Sophie, this bridge is a bit bumpy," because I think she had a bit of a spaz. She didn't want to cross a bridge.
She wanted to walk across the bridge by herself, you see.
Oh,
But she was up and down, up and down, up and down. It just wasn't happening.
so anyway, she's losing the plot. It's still quite cool when we hit the road. I think it's 14 degrees? No, 22. Anyway, he's walking along these bridges and he starts bouncing her up and down on his shoulders, pretending it's a bouncy bridge. And apparently that's, you know, how he gets her coaxed along the way. And I'm doing the video up ahead, so you'll hear him hollering at the kids to get them to keep going, and, you know, all kinds of coercion.
Trying to catch up the mummy.
Because I'm, yeah, booting ahead. And then the path opens up to what looks like bracken fields, and there's a tree that's fallen over and there's a tunnel under it, which I did wonder was a wombat, but there wasn't many animal trails down at this section at all, at least not that I could see, and I'm no tracker by any means. But then you turn left out of the trees and you come into the fields, and the fields have basically, as Marcus kind of described later, you know, the wallabies have come down and they've manicured this lawn and they've put in plastic around the trees. Yeah, the plastic is to stop the animals eating the trees, and then they're basically closing up some of this open area. So you'll see that, because what I end up doing is I video record for about 7 minutes, I think, all the way up the paddock. So you get to hear the sounds of the birds, the insects, you get to see the wallabies scat all over the place. The grass is like a carpet. It's so tight to the ground, this grass. It was unreal. But at the top of this area of grass, there's pointers along the way, which you'll see in that video. There then closes in again into the bracken, so you walk through the bracken and you are basically now in prehistoric temperate rainforest. It's damp, it's soggy, it smells earthy and damp and soggy. It's quite surreal, and I kind of wish that I was still recording for this bit to kind of verbalize to you at the time I was going through it just what we were seeing. It was just incredible. The tree ferns come out of nothing. It, you know, 1 minute we're in a clear glade or a clear paddock area, kind of, I call it a paddock. It's not a, it's a wallaby, it's a wallaby breakfast eating area. I don't know. And the rest of the flowers are foxgloves. Yeah, you see these colours popping up out of the bracken, and it's foxgloves. There's pink, purples and white foxgloves, which I kind of say, you know, don't put these on your fingers, they're poisonous. Oh, I've gone and used a container I should have reused. Oops. So let me show you a trick with these. Because these are repositionable, they come off nice and easily. But anyway, yeah. Oopsies. Yeah, if you drop a few drills, wet your finger, or if you've got dry hands, wet your finger and just dab them on. That picks them up instantly. Oh, get on. Alright.
That's what you need your desktop cyclonic vacuum for.
No, because then they get staticky. I don't use the vacuum because it gets staticky.
No.
Metho. And cotton bud. This has been here for ages. Hasn't evaporated or anything because I keep it tightly sealed. And look, there's a container good to go, and I can use it for something else. And then knock everything onto my mouse again. Good lord. Right. Next one. So yeah, we get into the tree fern section. It's dark. The ground starts, well, some of the ground is soggy, but some of it is not. It's quite strange how the diversity kind of goes through this. So the moss is all dry. It's not the lush green moss that we've come to expect from other soggy areas. The moss is dry. Some of the ground is dry underfoot, and then some of it is squelchy, muddy sections. The path is narrow. Oh, come on. And yeah, tree roots everywhere. The young people who have maintained this path have put steps in all over the place. Continued with the chicken wire protection on the steps to stop them being too slippy. You know, and it's pretty rustic. There's no frills or anything else. It's pretty basic. It does the job and that's it. That's all it needs to do. And we pass the couple. I pass the couple. They pass me. I move out of the path. And they pass me. And they both apologize for her terrible balance. Like, it's almost like she can barely walk in a straight line. And anyway, they leave, pass us by, tell us that we're nearly there, and we keep going. Marcus has Sophie on his shoulders again on this bit of the track. And we make it down, and then I stop because there's a whopping... Have you ever played pickup sticks? It's like a giant has played pickup sticks down the bottom of the waterfall and just dropped trees every freaking angle. It's quite a mess. It's absolutely insane. So pickup sticks is happening down at the bottom, and I'm looking at this tree going, oh crap, I've got to get up onto this tree log. Can I even walk along it? Am I going to fall off? And I'm not trusting my balance whatsoever, so I hang back. The kid gets up on the tree and starts, I don't know, almost doing, you know, jumps and twirls and farting around. I'm kind of thinking, okay, maybe it's not as bad as I'm thinking. Marcus gets up on the log with Sophie in front of him, and they're all fine. And it's kind of like, okay, it just looks bad. It looks narrower than it is. Up you get. It's been a long time since I've walked a balance beam. Yeah. So there was a little bit of mistrust in myself and my own capabilities. Marcus didn't trust me either because he mentioned it.
Well, no, it was more that you were trying to control Sophie at the same time.
Yeah.
And you were obviously not confident with doing it. And I think if you had tried doing it with her and either one of you had had trouble, you both would have ended up falling.
Yes, and these weren't insignificant trees. These were big girth trees. So...
It would have involved a fall of a metre or two.
Yeah, definitely would have been a metre or two. Anyway, I take a picture of the first glimpse actually into the waterfall, and it was like, holy cow, pause. You know, it was amazing. And it's tall. It just kind of keeps going up and up and up as you look at this thing. Sophie, you stay back here. Sophie! Mama's not listening. Get back here. Sophie, shut up. It was just incredible. There were green things all around the bottom. There's ferns, there's orchids, there's all kinds of lush greenery. There's these whopping great trees, as I say, like pickup sticks down the bottom. And because again, I don't have the confidence in my back yet, or jumping, I'm not going to jump. I didn't go scrambling. So at one point the kid, you know, gets released from staying out of the video, and she goes off and scrambled around some of the trees, and I think she even slipped on one of them and kind of had a bit of a check herself. That was kind of interesting. But so I ended up just sitting there at the bottom of the waterfall with Sophie next to me, and just sitting and enjoying the waterfall. It was amazing. So Marcus took a video and I took a video. I think my video is only like a minute down here. He's taken a much longer video. in here. At one point I was sitting there and I kind of thought, what the... Has the water actually increased coming down the waterfall? It was like something changed. And I thought, uh-oh, is it raining on the highlands? Because we need to get out if it's going to change. Because you can see from the mess down here that there has been some serious wind damage, water damage, whatever, you name it. It's been a force of nature in here. So I didn't want to get us stuck in here. But then it seemed to settle down again and just stayed as it's steady kind of pouring off. But it was really, really pretty. The spray was all over the place. The wall was green and it was this curved amphitheater kind of wall of water. Absolutely gorgeous. One of my favourite walks that I have done in a long, long time, and said to Marcus on the way out, I said, I haven't done a walk like this with so much diversity on the walk. It was absolutely fantastic. Very, very much a favourite of mine. And then walking back out, you know, I've got pictures then on the way out. There's more mosses and lichens, and you can see how old man lichen, you know, the beardy kind of stuff that dangles is. There's some ferns furled up. These are tree fern ends, I think, that haven't unfurled. Moss everywhere, tree ferns everywhere, the green, you know, canopy above your head. I try and capture all of that on the photos and in the camera. The mossy green of the roots, the difference with the mosses, there's, I think it's what I used to study in biology in Ireland, Spirogyra, I think it's called, or Spirogyra, I'm not quite sure of the pronunciation. It's a hard G if it's Latin, I think. But there's that next to another that I don't know what the name of it is. I haven't gone to my flora group to get the actual name. It doesn't really bother me that much. I don't know if all the mosses have actually been named, as another point. Yeah. But then there's some bracket funguses. There's, you know, tree fungi, yeah. There's tree ferns, and they're majestic. They're absolutely incredible. And then there's some foxgloves that I got some close-ups of, because I know Rachel is a big fan of the foxgloves, and sent her some photos of that. So yeah.
When we say man ferns, I reckon, just get out of meters. I'm saying up to 8 to 10 meters. I reckon some of these.
They're at least 2 people tall.
20 to 30 feet. 20 to 30 feet. I reckon.
Yeah, when I say 2 people tall, I'm talking about the trunk, and then the leaves go up another person or two. They're incredible, and they're lush green. These are ancient things. They do go back to kind of dinosaur age. Look, there's a drill. The stump itself, so the top can burn off, the stump can actually preserve itself, and then it sprouts again in regrowth. And that was in the Waterfalls Whip and Chat, which was, I don't know, November, December. I don't know if I've got them mentioned, which waterfall is which in each chat though. So, Waterfalls is the one that you're looking for, so if you want to go back and have a look at that, that was the Highland walk. And you can see the regrowth of the tree ferns that have burnt down from the fire that went through there last year. Absolutely incredible, the regeneration power in Australian flora. Some of these pictures seem to be a bit out of order. Maybe Marcus was taking pictures on the way back that he didn't take on the way in. Oops, need those. So there's a picture of this stupid stile that's in the middle of nothing. And appears it was attached to a bridge that crossed the river at one point.
I'll take you a picture of the weight limit over the stile.
Yeah, there's a weight limit that should have been probably on the bridge. It was kind of like too gross weight. I don't know if there was ever a bridge. Somebody has just put this.
I think somebody's nicked the sign.
Yeah, somebody has just put these here in the middle of nothing. It's very, very strange. The stile doesn't go anywhere. It just crosses a wooden fence. And the weight limit is normally what you see on a bridge. And the bridge isn't there.
There's nothing remotely like
nothing
a bridge
links.
platform on either side.
No.
It's just a
Oh, yeah, it was just
weight
very, very odd, out of place thing. On the way back out, I'm paying more attention to the trees, and there are some stringy bark here along the riverbank. Stringy bark we actually have some honey from. It's a sweet gum, I guess. I don't know how the hell beekeepers know what bees eat what honey and how they know it's a pure stringy bark as opposed to a mix. Don't ask. Either way, because there's a lot of plant life around these. Yeah. Apparently our honeymaker has ways and means of knowing what's what. Apparently it's the way it sinks and all kinds of weird stuff.
Well, yeah, and you've got some of them end up being more jelly-like than actual crystalline honey and yeah. Goniometer.
He's done a measurement-y thing. I'm out of...
Colourful. I should have done
Sorry.
the other way
I'm
around.
short a box.
It's for measuring angles.
It's for measuring angles. Okay.
Oh, geez, thanks.
So, on the way back,
Fine.
I've got Sophie. And she's getting pretty pooped. Hang on. And by way of distraction, I take her down to the river, and there's a lot of river stones. So this is for measuring angles. He has printed this and printed the paper and stuck it on with PVA. How nifty is that for a 3D print? It's pretty good. Anyway. So she's with me. So there's a bit of the river that is flat stepping stones. They're, you know, part of the bedrock, I suppose. They're not wobbly stones by any means, and they're huge. So Sophie and I go into the river, and there are these bizarre little hollows that the river has worn with other stones, and it's just eroded into this circle. It's just incredible. And then I've got some photos of looking up the river. Excuse me. Looking up the river from the middle of the river. Oh, come on. No. So it's all kinds of cool. And this is where I kind of wish I had a real camera, but a real camera is very, very heavy, so the phone camera makes do. So there's different parts of the river that we go onto, and taking the pictures, and you know, Sophie's looking at the river. And then there's a tree here. I think this is called paper bark. This is a little bit different from the stringy bark. And the paper bark comes off in like flat paper shreds. It's really, really weird. Very, very unusual trees. But yeah, we've got the little cascades. Like this cascade, I think, is only like a foot high. And it's just coming down in this kind of horseshoe shape. It was just gorgeous, absolutely beautiful. And then one of the last pictures before we get out is Sophie on Marcus's shoulders as he's walking ahead of me. Now, as normal on these drives, I do my knitting. So I've got my in-car knitting. It's the only thing I do with the knitting usually. I don't do the knitting on the couch. I don't have the wing space on the couch. I really would need a kind of armchair. I'd love a rocking chair. that would be my ultimate chair. But anyway, I don't have a rocking chair or anything. So I have been knitting in the car. So I've got a picture of my knitting here. This is the Metamorph Magus knitting that you would have seen me in the vlogs after Christmas, the 12 days of Christmas. I unboxed or unbagged or unpapered the Harry Potter year 2 advent calendar. Oh my god, these wools are just gorgeous. I think I've only balled the first 3. I need to ball the last one. I'm not quite sure why I miscounted so badly. I thought I needed 25. I clearly can't get. Oh, there we go. So yeah, the Morph Magus, and yeah, the rest is just videos in that folder because it's got them alphabetically. So the videos you all have seen through me jabbering, and you'll get to hear the waterfall through those. So I hope you have enjoyed. I hope I actually said at the beginning. Alright, so I'm done with my kitting up, and that is all of my Evermoment squares. They all belong in this box. The reason why I've got them in this box is because Evermoment squares are worth keeping. They're worth keeping in the way that you would keep Diamond Art Club. Okay, so any good drill company, yeah, it's worth it, and I've got them separate in a box so they're easy to kind of grab. These are the bags, and I will squeeze the air out of these. And oh, that's going to be interesting. Okay, let me make this long. Oh man, this is why you don't do drills with tweezers, because they go flying. Getting the stickers off the mini Tic Tacs was a pain in the behind. It is not a good system from the point of view of cost. They are pretty. We got to eat the lollies, but they're not cost effective. But they are kind of nice to be able to have all like that. Alright, that's a kitting down video for you, but more importantly, that is a waterfall video for you. So ever so often I'm going to be showing you what I'm doing, but more importantly I'm going to be showing you pictures. So I hope you've enjoyed watching the pictures. I hope you've enjoyed seeing how I kit down. There are a couple of these videos now somewhere on my tube. So yeah, that's a video, kitted down storage bag. So this is now empty. These are spare stickers. I don't tend to use those stickers. These are all numbered up to 39. One of my recent kits, which you will see, Cookies and Classics, there's actually 57 colours, so eventually most of these will have a colour number on them. And then all I will be doing is transferring the sticker that I've basically just removed onto, now I can also take off my label. This was a label made from stone paper, so it actually doesn't rip, but it tears rather than rips. But that was how I labelled my boxes, so I knew what I was looking at, because I could never tell what the colour was, because it was so long since I'd opened the kit previously or whatever. So I've got about 7 of these now, in different whips. So you can get them off Ali. They are definitely a good investment, although I've bought all of mine from Logan Store, except for the one with the butterflies on the white outside. I've bought them all from Logan, and the bottles have changed. The first bottles that I got had a slightly domed top and were a brittle plastic, crystal clear brittle plastic. The ones with the flat top, I don't like them quite as much, but the flat top is really good from a sticker point of view. So they're really good. Really, really good. I like them because they hold 1,000 drills really easily when you go to kit them up. So there's no doubling up, there's no partial bags floating around or anything else. They're really, really good kits, and they store up to 60. So they will do most kits. The occasion kits that they're not going to do would be things like a Heaven and Earth design conversion, a Royal Diamond painting where they've got a bazillion different colours, and some of the bigger kits. I don't know if I've got a kit from Diamond Art Club that has gone over 60 colours yet. I could be wrong, it's just my memory. 57 was certainly Cookies and Classics. That's a biggie. If you can think of any that are over 60 colours from Diamond Art Club, let me know. Answers in the comments. Answers on a postcard, please. So, yeah, all the spares are in here. They get kept in a, you know, separate space. What I do when I kit up is use these first and then use the bags. So eventually the ones that don't get used remain in the bags, and it's just old stock that gets used. Every Moment are always squares, but please be very careful when buying from Every Moment, because they do keep stolen artwork in their catalogue as well. Support the artists, and you know, if we're not buying stolen artwork, then they are going to eventually stop selling. They'll get the message, I think. I don't know. Somebody did try and explain to me about the whole morals, that Chinese morals are very different from a world point of view, that it's seen to be shameful not to do the stealing or something weird. It was very, very bizarre mentality of the Chinese. But it's something that we don't get because we're Western, potentially. And we don't have that honour system and all that kind of stuff. I was quite fascinated by it. Yeah. Alright, I'll let you go. It's a long enough video, and I have chattered and given you lots and lots to see, and it's 1 hour 15 on this, and then you've got the videos which are going to lengthen it as well. So I hope you've enjoyed 3 waterfall walks in a row. Yeah, it very much is a video standing alone. I hope you've enjoyed my stories and seeing Tasmania through the Irish girl's eyes. And yeah, I hope my pictures are good enough. Alright, take care of yourselves, please, and I will see you again on the next video. Please click like, subscribe, comment, tell me what you liked, didn't like, ask questions, you know, the whole thing. If you're not already a subscriber, please click subscribe, ring the bell. There is ways to support me with the membership, with the single membership on the on YouTube. There is the coffee subscription that you can support me on, and yes, you will see some new things coming your way in the near future. And for now, I'm going to get off the computer. It's been a day, and my back is going to be telling me all about it when I get up. So, yes, taking a break. Alright, take care, and I will see you guys soon. Bye for now. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face, and the rain fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand.